The guests for tonight's State of the Union speech are a who's who of politicos and causes. Republican Senator Johnny Isakson's guest is Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, fresh off the city's successful Super Bowl hosting job. Fellow Republican Senator David Perdue's guest was supposed to be a college student who was named Youth of the Year by the Georgia Boys and Girls Clubs, but she had to cancel, so he is now taking the runner-up. Congresswoman Lucy McBath from the 6th Congressional District invited two Dunwoody parents whose daughter fell victim to gun violence, a political platform on which she campaigned. Representative Doug Collins invited the co-founder of Latino's conservative organization.
Joining us now, our political correspondent, Andra Gillespie, Dr. Andra Gillespie, with more on what we can expect from the President's State of the Union tonight. He's been pretty scripted in the past. Do you expect any surprises this time around?
Well, I mean, I think the big question is how scripted he remains tonight. I think people expect that there's going to be a lot of attention on the border wall. Many of the reports suggest that he's not going to announce emergency funding for it, but we do expect him to make a case for why he should continue the fight with the border wall. I think people will also be looking to see what he says in terms of foreign policy on North Korea and Syria, and also what he has to say about the economy and those other very important issues that any president has to oversee and manage.
Yeah, we'll see if health care is in that mix as well, and of course giving the Democratic response. Former Georgia lawmaker and gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. Talk about what message you expect to hear from her.
Well, one, Stacey Abrams is supposed to symbolize the future of the Democratic Party, one that is younger, one that is more diverse, and one that is representative of women, and so she embodies all of those features. I expect that given the issues that came up during her gubernatorial campaign, that voting rights is going to figure prominently in her speech, as it is in some of the Democratic Party action in Congress right now. I also expect that she is going to be charged with laying out a plan for what Democrats stand for to try to provide a sharp contrast to the Trump administration.
It was interesting on Twitter today. I saw what sort of mimicked a negative campaign ad against her, sort of trying to set a negative stage from the other side before she makes this big national appearance tonight.
Well, I mean, that's to be expected in politics. People use negative campaigning in an election season to try to demoralize the other side. So we haven't studied what that looks like in the terms of the context of a State of the Union address or a response to one. But, she's going to make a case, and, given her history of making speeches before, I think she's going to, make an impassioned plea whether or not one agrees with what she has to say.
Does this make you think that she's more inclined to seek maybe a Senate seat?
Well, what she is doing is trying to keep the momentum and the goodwill that she engendered amongst Democrats during her gubernatorial campaign. And so there are lots of strategic considerations about whether or not she chooses to hit the strike while the iron is hot in terms of running for a Senate seat in 2020 or waiting it out until 2022. But, I mean, she's making herself still relevant by giving this speech tonight.
I appreciate your insight as always, and it'll be interesting to talk more after the State of the Union and the rebuttal by Stacey Abrams. We'll have a lot more on 11alive.com, and send us any questions you might have as well.